We're going to zero in on something called TPA engineering assessment reports.
TPA.
Yeah, TPA, that's Trusted Pipeline Advisor.
Exactly.
And they're totally new online hub for all these reports.
Right.
And then there's this thing called Triage from AbaData that powers the whole thing.
Yeah.
For our listeners, the goal here is to get into the nuts and bolts of what these reports are all about.
Absolutely.
How they actually work and why they're so important, especially when we're talking about safety, reliability, and making sure pipelines are playing by the rules.
And what's so interesting right off the bat is that these TPA EA reports, they're not just a good idea, right?
No.
Often they're a direct response to what the regulations require. So we're talking about meeting the requirements of the pipeline regulations and the CSA Z662 standards. These standards essentially lay out the best practices and the minimum requirements for how we design, construct, operate, and maintain these pipelines.
When does an operator really find themselves needing a TPA EA report?
One of the big ones is when a pipeline is being reactivated.
Oh.
And this could be routine reactivation, but more importantly, those non-routine reactivations. So imagine a pipeline that's been sitting idle for a while.
Right.
Maybe it was down for maintenance, or maybe market conditions just weren't right.
Okay.
Before we bring that pipeline back online, you absolutely have to have a rock-solid understanding of its current condition. And these reports, they provide that essential checkup.
Makes sense.
Another time when these reports are absolutely crucial is during pipeline license transfers or sales.
Oh, okay.
When a company is looking at buying a pipeline, they need a clear and unbiased picture of the asset's integrity
I want to know what they're getting into.
before they finalize that deal.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You also mentioned that a lack of historical data can also trigger the need for these reports.
If the current pipeline operator, if they don't have a complete or reliable history of a pipeline's integrity,
Right.
and this can happen maybe due to older record-keeping practices or just the age of the infrastructure, when that happens, these TPA EA reports, they step in to provide that crucial baseline assessment. And this is precisely where triage from AbaData really comes into play.
So triage, now that's the core technology behind these TPA EA reports, right? It's like the brains of the whole operation.
Absolutely. Triage is really the cornerstone of all of this. It's this advanced technical methodology that AbaData developed specifically for evaluating pipeline integrity. It doesn't just look at the pipeline's condition right now. Instead, it assesses the pipeline's integrity based on its entire history of exposure to all the different hazards that can affect it over its entire lifespan. It's called over-life exposure. So it uses extensive historical operational data, things like the pressures the pipeline's been operating at, the rates at which fluids have been flowing through it, detailed maintenance records, and any records of past incidents, even minor ones. But, and this is important, triage is designed to look at a whole range of key integrity hazards. So this includes all forms of corrosion,
Okay.
both internal, caused by the fluids flowing through the pipe, and external corrosion, caused by environmental factors. It also very carefully assesses the risks associated with or other external forces. And then there are geotechnical threats.
Okay.
Things like landslides, ground settlement, or other forms of ground movement that could really stress the pipeline. All of those are carefully evaluated.
Does it offer solutions?
Absolutely. This is where the real value of the TPA EA reports comes in. Thanks to the detailed insights that we get from triage, these reports don't just diagnose potential problems.
Okay.
They offer targeted solutions.
Okay.
One of the most important benefits here is called hazard-optimized mitigation guidance. So instead of just giving operators these generic maintenance recommendations, operators get tailored, actionable guidance on the most effective ways to address those specific threats, where they will have the biggest impact on safety and reliability.
Okay.
This significantly improves the overall safety of the pipeline because you're proactively addressing the most likely failure mechanisms. It also optimizes operational costs.
You mentioned a new online platform for these reports, the TPA EA Reporting Hub.
The EA, it provides unprecedented ease of access for operators who need to order these assessments.
Okay.
It features a very intuitive, dynamic data collection form. What's really nice is that the form adapts based on the information the operator inputs, to make sure we're capturing all the necessary details. By moving the entire ordering process online, it really cuts down on all that back and forth with paperwork and administrative overhead.
Okay.
And the dynamic nature of the form is key here. It guides the operator through all the information they need to provide,
Oh,
prompting them for the details that are relevant to their specific situation
right.
and avoiding all those irrelevant questions. That's another big advantage of the TPA EA reporting hub and the EA reports themselves. They're designed to be affordable.
Okay.
So even smaller operators who might have a lot of pipeline to manage can access this level of sophisticated integrity assessment.
So just to summarize here, these TPA engineering assessment reports powered by this sophisticated triage analysis,
Right.
they offer really impressive benefits. They help operators meet those crucial regulatory requirements. They significantly enhance pipeline safety and reliability through hazard-optimized mitigation. They're easily accessible through the new online hub. They're designed to be affordable.
That's right.
They offer fast turnaround times,
Yes.
and they provide critical support and clarity during transactions.
You got it.
It sounds like an incredibly valuable tool.
I think so. And the real key here is the integration of triage. That's what really sets it apart.
Right.
Because it moves beyond simply checking boxes for compliance. It provides a deep, data-driven understanding of a pipeline's integrity profile over its entire operational history.
This has been a fascinating deep dive into TPA EA reports and the crucial role that triage plays in all of this.
I'm glad you found it interesting.
It's clear that this approach represents a major step forward in how we understand and manage the integrity of these critical assets.
Couldn't agree more.
It's been a great conversation.
My pleasure.
Thanks for joining us.
Anytime.